Hi, I'm Scott Flowers with Cloud Ninjas. Today we're here to continue our series on the Dell PowerEdge R630 server, and we're going to go over how to install VMware ESXi 7.0.3. And in order to do this, you're going to need a couple things: a USB drive. We're going to need a desktop or laptop that has internet access. We're going to need your R630 to have internet access. We're going to use a program called Rufus that we'll show you a little bit later, and you're going to need an ISO file that you can download from the link that we're going to provide at the bottom of our description section. Let's get going. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by. Today, learn a bit more about the Dell PowerEdge R630 server. Do us a favor, if you find anything in this video useful, click that like, smash that subscribe. All right, so what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to do step-by-step instructions on how to install VMware ESXi 7.0.3. Alright, so we're going to create a boot disk using the VMware ISO file that we just downloaded. In order to do this, we are going to need a USB thumb drive installed into your computer, and we're going to use a program called Rufus. You can use something else if you would like. This is a really common and popular program for creating a boot disk. We'll put up a link of where you can download it because you will need to download it, and it'll be at rufus.ie/en/. And once you've downloaded it, we're going to go into Rufus, and when you do, you will see there is a part that says boot selection. Under the boot selection, click the select on the right side. This is going to allow you to select the VMware file. Go in there and click on the VMware ISO file. When you hit open, it's going to basically put it into it. Make sure all the rest of the settings are fine. They should all be good, but just double check everything is good. Hit start. Now it's going to give you a warning option after you do this that basically any data on your USB is going to be destroyed. You should have put in a blank USB, so hopefully you have a blank USB. Click OK, and you're good to move forward. If you don't want the information that's on there destroyed, then make sure to grab a different USB. So it's going to take a few minutes for this to process, but right now Rufus is actually creating the boot disk from the ISO file that we downloaded. When it's complete, the program when it's complete, you're going to close your program, and your VMware ESXi installation on the USB will be ready to go. So really, it's a relatively simple process overall. It doesn't take too much time here. It's going to take a minute or two to run this, but it's not like some of the other installs. If you saw our mass updates video, that takes sometimes all night to install the updates for your R630. So realistically, it's just kind of a waiting game here, and once it's all done, you're just going to go on to the next step, which is going to be to install the VMware onto the server itself. Alright, so now we're actually going to install VMware ESXi 7.0.3 onto our R630 server. So we are going to reboot the server, and on the boot up screen we are going to hit F11, and this will enter the boot manager. Once the boot manager fully initializes and pops up with the options, we're going to go to one-shot BIOS boot menu. Once you get into the one-shot BIOS boot menu, we're going to actually select the USB that we created. Once you've selected the USB, it'll take a few minutes to initialize. Once it does, it's going to take almost 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to actually load up the VMware ESXi installer. So just know, you need to sit back and be a little bit patient here. We're going to actually fast forward through it because it's just a ton of time to waste just staring at the screen. But do know it's going to take 5 to 10 minutes here. Alright, so after some time, it's going to pop up to a screen that says, "Welcome to VMware ESXi 7.0.3 installation." You're going to want to press Enter to continue. That's going to give you the next screen where you're going to want to push F11 to accept and continue. That's just going to be the license agreement. Once you've accepted the license agreement, this is going to bring you to the select a disk to install or upgrade screen. Here's where we're actually going to install VMware onto our local hard drive disk. Press Enter to continue, and Enter again to confirm the installation location. Alright, once we confirm the disk selection, it's going to come up to a screen that's going to want you to put your keyboard option. We just do US default, press enter for your for your keyboard option, then it's going to ask you to enter a password. Make sure you remember your password because you will need this again. So we're going to put our password in. It does need to be at least 7 characters and have 1 special character as well. So we set our password, make sure it matches. Once we set the password, the default username is going to default to root, R-O-O-T. You know, all relatively simple. Then you're going to confirm the install here, and you're just going to hit F11. So now it's in the process of actually installing ESXi. This is going to take several minutes, so just know it'll take several minutes for the whole process to happen. Once it finishes the install, it's going to give you an option to reboot. You're going to hit enter, and it's going to reboot the server automatically. Okay. Once the server has powered down, and give it some time to power down because it's still doing some stuff in the background, you're going to remove the USB that we had used to install the ESXi, right? So once the USB is removed and the server boots back up, you're now going to boot to the newly installed VMware ESXi. And once it's booted, you'll see that there's a message that reads, to manage this host, go to, and it's going to have your IP address. We will reference this IP address in the next step, so you will need to make sure that you have it. And our IP address we're going to black out, but it'll be different than what yours is, obviously. Alright, so the next step is we actually need to set a static IP on the laptop that we're going to use to log in to the VMware ESXi Web Interface. So in order to do this, we're just going to go to our laptop. You need to get into the control panel. So it could be a little bit different depending on the type of laptop you have, but in essence, just get to your control panel, go to the Network and Sharing Center. And within the Network and Sharing Center, you're going to go to Change Adapter Settings. And once you click on Change Adapter Settings, you're going to right-click on the Wi-Fi, make sure it's disabled. Then you're going to right-click on the Ethernet, and you're going to go into Properties. In the Properties section, you're going to want to click on the Internet Protocol version 4, TCP IPv4, and you're going to click on the Properties. Alright, so after properties, you're going to be able to actually now set the static IP address. So we're going to go in and set it to the same as the server. And we need to make sure that the subnet mask is also done as well. So we're going to set this here too. And really it's just that simple. You just come in and you put in the IP address and you put in the subnet mask, and then you're going to go down and click OK, and click OK again, and you've officially saved it to your laptop, and now your laptop's ready to be able to log into VMware ESXi via the web interface. Alright, we are on to the final step. How do I log into the VMware ESXi web interface on my laptop? So grab the laptop that we had just set the static IP address on, go to your favorite web browser, and you're just going to type in your IP address. And this was also in the to manage this host go to, and it showed that earlier on. It might give you a security warning. You're going to have to accept the security warning before the web interface is actually going to load. Okay. Then it's going to come to the actual screen here where you can log in. The username that we discussed, the default is going to be root, and the password is the password that you set earlier in the video. So type that in, and you can log in, and you have successfully logged into the web interface on your laptop. So now that concludes the video, and we've installed and logged in to VMware ESXi 7.0.3 on our Dell R630 server. Do us a favor, if you are looking to build out an R630 to use this in your data center, we'd love the opportunity to earn your business. Please email us at sales@cloudninjas.com. That's sales@cloudninjas.com. Thanks for stopping by. Take care, guys.